Hey there everybody, it's Anna. Welcome back to my art channel. Thank you for being here. Today I am making a Christmas wreath on an old vinyl record. So I've painted on records a couple of times to make clocks. I thought it would be really fun to do a wreath on one since it already has that round shape. So I've sprayed it with a coat of primer, and then I've filled in the center hole with some gloss gel, just because it's kind of thick. So I'm sure you'll be able to see the texture of the hole, but at least it won't be a physical hole. Let me show you my colors. So all of the information for these colors is in the video description. So I have this dark green, which is actually a mix of a couple of different paints, because as I was doing my density test, what I realized was that my dark green and my lighter red color were either too dense or they had too much water or something, and they were sinking into the white base. So I thickened them up by adding some more paint, but they still were sinking. But the lighter green and the darker red and this sort of purpler color, they were not sinking into the white paint. So I mixed them. So this is actually a mix of my darker green and my lighter green to create this sort of medium dark green. Anyway, then I've got this, and I forget what all the names are. These are all tube paints of different brands. Blick Studio, Acrylics, Creative Inspirations, and Master's Touch Acrylics. But I've got two different green colors. I have metallic gold, metallic silver, and it's all mixed medium thin to thin. It flows very nicely. It's almost as thin as a Dutch pour, maybe not quite. Certainly not as watery feeling as a paint and water Dutch pour, because this is all mixed with Floetrol, so it doesn't feel quite as thin, but it runs and flows very nicely. So this is crimson, that's my like red color, and then I have this kind of, this one was my blend of like a primary red, which almost looked pink, and it's got some of the darker red, and it's got some of this rouge, which is purplish. So this is kind of like a cherry red. I think it'll be really nice. And then I don't know if I'm going to add any of this rouge color. It's this beautiful sort of maroon purple. It was part of my royalty Dutch pour. Love this color. Not sure if it's going to work with the Christmas wreath color scheme. We'll see. And then I also have a big cup of white base paint. This is Sargent and Apple Barrel. Everything is mixed pretty thin. This is all mixed 1 part paint to between 2 and 3 parts Floetrol. And the base is 1 part paint to 2 parts Floetrol. Okay, let's make a painting. So I'm going to start by pouring some of this white on the record and just spreading it out with a palette knife. I think I put too much on, so I'm just kind of scraping some off. I don't want a really thick layer. Gonna torch out some of these air bubbles. Because my paint is mixed with Floetrol, torching is not strictly necessary. Floetrol mixed paint is much less likely to hold on to those kind of pock marks that you get from air bubbles in the paint, but it still makes a neater effect, so I'm doing it. But don't worry if you don't have a torch, you can still do this recipe without one. So my painting style today, I've been inspired by Don Greger and his YouTube channel. He does these amazing sort of flowers and hearts and stuff using thinnish paints, and he blows them with a straw. So it looks very floral, but it's a very simple technique to do. So that's what I'm going to try to do here with my wreath. Piece of dust or something that fell in. Get that out of there. I'm going to start though with my gold and silver. I'm going to just make some lines around, some sort of crisscrossing lines, so it looks like strands of gold and silver tinsel woven in. And I know that looks super messy right now. That's okay. We just want sort of accents of the metallics. Silver and gold. I'm tempted to start singing the song from Rudolph, but I won't. So this should create just a nice sort of background. And I will even break some of those big blobs up even a little bit more. Okay, so I want most of the wreath to be green. My two green colors here. I don't know if I'm going to have a red bow at the bottom, or if I'm going to have sort of some red flowers like poinsettias. I'm just winging this today. So I'm going to start though with green. So I'm just going to add small dots of green all around. Okay, let's do the light green and we'll just kind of alternate the placement of it. And then once we blow those out, then I'll see if we need any more. Whoa. This one right here got too long, so this one, I'll just turn it into a bar. That'll be a holly leaf, and I'll sort of blow it out on each side, so that works fine. If you had a squeeze bottle, this process would be faster, but I didn't feel like doing the work of washing the squeeze bottles, so we'll just take a little bit longer. Okay, so I've got sort of a preliminary round of green, and I'm sure you're noticing I did it kind of in 2 rows, which was half intentional, half not intentional. Probably what'll happen is I'll blow it all out, and then I may come into the center and, as needed, add in a few things kind of in the middle, either with the green or with the other colors. But I think before I add in a whole bunch more dots, I just need to see how this is blowing out. I have a little bit of a hollow spot here, so add a little more base paint. Alright, so I've got just a little plastic straw here. Let's start blowing out these dots. Well, this is looking really fun. Lots of green, lots of sort of squiggly shapes. So I think once I get all the way around, then I'll come in and figure out where do we need like a pop of gold, where do we need a pop of red, do we need a bow here? But for right now, I'll just go all the way around. Okay, well there's a first pass done. That's looking really cool. It's definitely very abstract, but it looks like greenery. Yeah, liking it a lot. Okay, I'm gonna try something. I'm gonna try making a poinsettia right here. So I'm gonna put some of my darker red, and then I'm gonna add some of this lighter, sort of purpley red on top so it's a larger spot. Spread it out a bit first. Okay, I do like that. I'm going to add one over here, sort of going into the white. I may need to come in later with a brush and add a center just so it really looks like a flower. Also, I'm going to dip my palette knife in my darker red color and just sort of drag it in to give even more of a petal illusion. Beautiful. Love that. It's definitely abstract right now. I think once I do some tweaks and touch-ups, once it's dry, it's going to look better. Let me make one here now. I do like it here on the edge more than I do here in the middle. I'm going to do one more right here on the edge. Alright, I want to try something. My holly leaves kind of vanished. I want to see if I can draw this one back up again. And what I want to do is I want to get some of the darker green color and make some veins along it. And just see if I can create that holly leaf spiky texture and some veins to really make it look like a leaf. I don't know. It doesn't look amazing. I'll leave it for now, see if I can come up with some other things that look better than that. And if I do, then I may sort of cover that up. I'd like to add some gold here, just a little gold something or other. Back to the leaf up here, because it's to the point where either I have to get it how I like it, or I'm going to cover it up. So let me see if I can get it to a point that satisfies me. I actually kind of like that now. It is definitely abstract, but it adds texture, which I do like a lot. So I'll probably add in one more of those somewhere, but first I'm going to sprinkle in a couple of these little gold and silver things. I think I'm going to add a leaf right here, a holly leaf. So I'm going to make it dark this time. Get away, gnat. A bug was flying through, and you know how terrible bugs are for fluid art. Alright, let me blow this out. I'm sort of letting it settle, and then I'll put the veins through it. Okay, ready to do the leaf. Since it's a dark leaf, I'm going to be doing light colored veins. Since the lighter green does not sink as much as the darker green does, the veins are much, much thicker. So I may have to, again, tweak that with a brush when it's dry. We'll see. Sometimes there's areas where it's just strange shapes, and so you just need to add some of the same color and just reshape it a bit. So it doesn't look so distracting. Okay, so I still need to decide what to put right here. Do I fill it in with greenery, where it's kind of sparse right now? Do I put another holly leaf? Or do I put a bow? I think I really like the look of it with just the poinsettia flowers. So I think I'm just going to fill it in with green. No, I'm going to put another holly leaf, and I'm going to do a light colored one because I like the way the veins look better. Well, that leaf looks nice. There's not a lot of contrast around it because it was light green around it as well. But again, I can come in with a brush and just add some darker areas so that you can see it better. I'm liking this a lot. I think I want to add just a little bit more. This is going to be tiny little elements of some red berries, like holly berries. So it's going to be just tiny red dots. Love that. Yes, beautiful. Beautiful. And I can probably leave those dots as is, but I will probably brush paint some little stems after this is dry, just to make it look even more realistic, because you guys know I like to be realistic whenever possible. But I love this. Yeah, I don't think there's anything more I want to add, so let me give you a close-up. Here we go. How pretty is that? So up close you can see where it's not completely neat. You know, it's definitely an abstract look, but I'm going to paint some centers on the poinsettias And I'm going to neaten up the holly leaves just a little bit, and I'm going to add some stems on those berries. So it'll look a little bit neater once I'm done. But I just think this is really cool, and especially from a distance, you totally get that Christmas wreath vibe and the sparkles of the gold and silver. I just love it! So let me show you how it looks when it's dry. Okay, it's dry. Let's take a look. So it dried pretty much perfectly. No paint shifting overnight. I love how shimmery the metallics look when it's dry. So one thing, you can obviously see the texture there from the record, and there in the middle you can see the hole, and you can see where part of the label got kind of torn. So I am going to add a stencil snowflake in the middle to add some texture and hide that. I also have some other details to add. For example, along this leaf, I'm going to add some dark around the edges just to help it stand out a bit. And where those red holly berries have gotten warped, I'm going to neaten those up. So I'm going to be using a brush and also some new paint markers that I have, but I don't have enough time to do it in this video, so that will be in a future video. You can see all of the different touch-ups that I do on this piece in detail. If you're like, I don't know how to do touch-ups on a painting, it'll be a video all about that. So be sure to watch for that when it comes out. But thank you so much for watching this one. It was definitely a, let's just try this and see how it goes. Let me know, have you ever poured on a record? Have you ever done a painting that looks like a wreath? If you end up trying one of these this year, definitely let me know how it goes. Thanks again for watching. I will see you next week. Bye!